What?
It's time now for My Two Favorite Librarians. Brought to you by Copper Tree Boutique in Dales Grand Market, located in beautiful, historic downtown Amherst.
Hi, this is My Two Favorite Librarians. I'm Denise Corey.
I'm Chantel Taylor, and today we're talking about season books.
So I sat down to write my notes about this, and I was like, what? Why did I put this category on the list? I don't remember what my thinking was around it.
It's not a Pop Sugar Challenge, apparently.
It's not a Pop Sugar Challenge. Was I planning to start talking about summer? Because it seems a bit early. So was I just going to talk about books with different seasons in the title? I can't remember why I put this on the list.
And it's very vague.
It is super vague. I have no... Because I make up a list of topics for us to talk about, and I usually do like a whole year in advance, and then we can just move things around as we need to. It just gives us an idea, something to talk about. Otherwise, it's just Chantel and I blathering about things that irritate us, like we did yesterday.
Talking about how the grocery store annoyed us for a half an hour.
Yesterday, we did our My Two Favorite Librarians podcast, which you can find at My Two Favorite Librarians at Home. That's what it is. That you can find on our Facebook page, which is also called My Two Favorite Librarians. Very inventive. And yeah, so yesterday, without a topic, we just talked about how the grocery store irritated us for like 20 minutes.
We need a topic.
Yeah. So, but I have no idea why I put this on. So I went on to the catalog.
Yes.
Which you can find on our website.
www.cumberlandpubliclibraries.ca.
And I know that Ron's going to add a clicker noise there. It's very funny for me. And I looked up season in the title section, and it brought up about 1,200 hits.
Yeah.
And then I realized, it brought up more than 1,200 hits. I realized that about 1,200 of those hits were TV shows.
Yeah.
TV shows that we loan out by the season.
Yes.
And then I narrowed it down to books, and then I narrowed it down to books that we had in the Amherst branch to see if there was anything that I wanted to read. And
they're all very like cozy mystery or romance.
So a lot of Christmas.
I did the same thing as you. So I have like off season for scandal, season for surrender, season for temptation, the haunted season, the bitter season, the love season, the fifth season, the bone season, for every season, the evil season, the winnowing season. It goes on and on and on.
And I have no idea what my plan was when I initially wrote this down.
So when I initially did this, I had thought seasonings, just to be a jerk.
Like salt and pepper.
Yes. Well, there's more than salt and pepper, Karen.
Well, you know what? I grew up in a small town in the Maritimes, and salt and pepper were seasonings.
I lived in PEI, and we had paprika, like, come on, and oregano, and dill. Didn't your mom have a full seasoning, like, spice drawer? We had a spice drawer.
We had cayenne powder, but that was, like, super hot, and it was something that we did to be mean to each other.
Anyway, so I had gone looking for books about seasoning. Which we don't have a whole lot of in our system. I mean, there are things obviously that are going to tell you how to like season meat if you get a meat book or whatever. But there was nothing really specific. We do have one called Seasoned Recipes and Essays from the Spice Man.
Okay.
But we didn't have like a whole lot about seasoning. So then I shifted gears.
I have to assume that I was not thinking of spices when
You don't know that.
I don't actually really remember.
So then I shifted gears, and I thought, well, there's a lot of seasonal cookbooks.
Okay.
Bake the season.
That sounds like a lot of cakes and cookies. I'm on board.
Miss Doll's Voluptuous Delights, Recipe for Every Season, Food and Appetite by Sophie Dahl. I love that book, and I loved her little BBC series. I may see if I can find that on YouTube later. She's divided up by the seasons, so you're eating what's fresh.
Right.
Or what's available to you traditionally. Real simple, easy, delicious home cooking recipes for every season. Fresh with Anna Olson. Seasonally inspired recipes to share with family and friends. A Taste of the Maritimes. Local seasonal recipes for the whole year. So lots of seasonal books, but also season specific. So as you said, lots of Christmas baking books or Christmas craft books or fall books. So all kinds of...
and we're finally getting into the time of the year when things are being planted. Well, I mean, yeah, there was a frost warning last night, so, But there'll be new garden food, which is very exciting.
Well, and also you plant things at different seasons. So obviously in the fall, you planted tulips for this year or something.
Bulbs, yeah.
Bulbs. So, yeah, there are seasonal planting books.
And you should see my tulips. They're up and they're very pretty.
And I suppose also you can start your tomatoes inside.
Oh, people have already been starting their seeds.
So again, if I was going to learn to garden, which I'm not, because
you
I
would
don't
have to have
need
a yard.
Well, and not only that, I don't need another expensive hobby.
Also, you don't like the sunshine to touch you?
Yeah.
Or being outside.
Yeah.
So none of these things would appeal to you.
Yeah, at all. But
it's like the worst hobby for you ever.
Totally. But if I was going to learn to garden, I would need to know what season to plant things in.
Yes. So do we think that that's what I was thinking so many months ago?
I have no idea. Also, there's lots of romance books with seasons in the title.
There's also the book by Stephen King called Different Seasons, which is 4 novellas. And 3 of those were made into movies.
Really?
Yeah. So in Different Seasons, there's Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, okay.
Apt Pupil.
Does not have season in the title.
No. Apt Pupil and The Body, which was made into Stand By Me, and The Breathing Method, which I don't remember. None of them have to do with a specific season. Apparently, he called it Different Seasons because these were less horror novels than what he had been writing before, and his publisher wanted to show that he could do something different.
Okay then, Stephen King. So romance specific, again, some marvelous... Sarah McLean has a book called The Season.
Have you read it?
No, it's YA actually. It was her first book that she released.
So that's probably like The Season, like the debutante.
Yes, exactly. So you had your, you got a season or 2, and if you weren't married, it was up on the shelf for you.
Spinster.
That's me. Also... Lisa Kleypas has a series called the Wallflowers series, and I had tried to read it and didn't love it. So Secrets of a Summer Night, It Happened One Autumn, Devil in Winter, which I did really like, and Scandal in the Spring. Also, A Wallflower Christmas. And then one of the series I know you're so excited for me to talk about again is Immortals After Dark.
Ugh.
And I've just lost it. There it is. Wicked Deeds on a Winter's Night.
Is that like the Immortals After Dark Christmas book?
No, it's not. And initially, I did not notice this until Sarah McLean and Jen Prokoff pointed this out. But the title sort of like linked to the next one. So the first book was called A Hunger Like No Other, No Rest for the Wicked, Wicked Deeds on a Winter's Night, Dark Needs at Night's Edge, Dark Desires After Dusk. So they sort of like linked to the next title.
Play on the next one.
Yep.
All right, I'm done. I'm done talking about seasons.
There are lots of season books.
There are. I just...
don't have any idea, and it was not an advantage for you to choose this
No. 'Cause
topic.
I generally, well, as soon as they release the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, I generally pick things from that so that I can kill two birds with one stone,
Yeah.
really. And then I put in other things that happen throughout the year, like, you know, in June, we're going to want to talk about Indigenous Peoples Day, obviously. So usually between those two, I know what I'm doing.
You can fill 52 weeks of the year.
Yeah, no idea. No idea. So I should mention, we are doing Borrow by Mail.
Yes.
Sorry, the service is slow. We're really only in here, we have people in now 2 days a week. Very exciting.
Yes.
But in order to keep everybody distanced and to make sure that we have time for cleaning, and it's a new
world.
Yeah. So it does take longer for us to get things out in the mail. We do our mailing only 1 day a week, and this has proven to be quite popular. So there is a little bit of a backlog, but we are still mailing things to people in Cumberland County absolutely free. You can get books, DVDs, magazines, jigsaw puzzles, pretty much
Whatever we can put in a bag for you.
anything that we have in the Amherst Library right now, we will send to you. We are also quarantining all books that are returned, so we are taking books back.
Yes.
We quarantine them for 5 days before we check them in, just to be on the safe side.
Yep.
So all of the things I've read have said 72 hours should be fine, but we decided to go with
A couple of extra days just
Yeah.
to be safe.
just an abundance of caution. So yes, we are still mailing things out. Sorry if we're a bit slow. We're trying our very, very best. So I want to talk to you about what I'm reading. I'm really actually kind of excited about this book that I'm listening to,
Oh, good.
which, I mean, reading has been kind of iffy, right?
Oh, yes.
So I'm listening to a book called Stone Mothers by Erin Kelly.
Okay.
She's a UK author, and I read something by her, I think, last year. He Said, She Said. Before this, I had not heard of her, but Stone Mothers is apparently what Victorians used to refer to mental hospitals or insane asylums as. And I know neither of those terms are
The correct term right now.
Yes. But they used to refer to it as Stone Mothers because they thought that the design of the building could literally nurse the sick back to health. Picture a Victorian.
Yeah, no, I'll have a panic attack right here.
I mean, I do not think of that as mothering or comforting in any way, shape, or form.
No.
So in this book, Nazareth is the short name for the East Anglia Mental Hospital. That was its name. And in current days, it's been turned into luxury condos, which I think sometimes happens. And Marianne's husband buys one of these condos, surprises her with it. They get there, she suddenly has a panic attack.
Who wouldn't?
And it's because he has no idea what her history is with this hospital. So then the book is primarily written in flashbacks of her talking about her history, but now it's just changed to another character's flashbacks of their history with the hospital, and it's even more interesting. And I'm listening to it, which means that I'm only listening to it when I'm doing things. So there's some motivation to do some dishes right there because I want to know what's happening with this book.
Never, ever.
Rug cooking? I like to listen to books when I
yeah.
rug cook.
Well, I don't want to rug cook, but knitting, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm really I'm into this book. I want to know what happens.
I started a sweater, so I have hours of listening
Okay.
to come.
You're not going to read
Oh, no.
others. No.
Absolutely not.
It's-
I'm going to read something ridiculous, but ridiculously good.
With sexy times and romance.
Absolutely. I am reading, and I can't remember if I mentioned this last week or not, Chasing Cassandra by Lisa Kleypas. I can't remember if I mentioned it here or if I mentioned it on podcast. I'm not that far into it. It was recommended by our friend Vivian, and I'll tell you how she recommended it to me. She said the heroine likes reading, knitting, eating, and naps. It's quarantine perfect.
Well, and aren't those your hobbies?
Yes. Completely. So I'm very excited. So I do have the book at home to read, but I may, now that I'm knitting a sweater, change over and listen. So it's not on Hoopla, unfortunately, and I would have to wait 20 years for it on Overdrive because it's a big one. Everyone was looking forward to Chasing Cassandra.
Okay. So perhaps I should get another copy.
I think I placed a hold on both. We may not have an audiobook version.
Okay.
Only Halifax will have an audiobook. I'll have to double check.
So there's another reminder. We have all these great online resources too. So you have a library card, you have internet access, you can get downloadable audiobooks and ebooks from Overdrive, you can get downloadable magazines from RB Digital, and you can get ebooks, audiobooks, movies, TV shows, and music from Hoopla. All you need is a library card.
Yes.
Yeah. And Hoopla, I even have it loaded on my smart TV, and I watched Donnie Darko. I know I told you this, but I can't remember if we talked about it on the radio.
I think we did here. You can't listen to audiobooks through your TV on Hoopla, though, which really ticks me off.
I know, because that would be so much simpler.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps we should tell the fine folks at Hoopla that that is something we want.
Yeah.
I was reading Girl, Woman, Other. I know I mentioned it because I said it was fairly artsy. I got about 15% in, and I was reading it on Overdrive, and my time expired, and
you're not going to get it back.
I'm not going to get it back.
I don't blame you.
But I have read 34 books this year and completed 26 of the 50 Pop Sugar Reading Challenge categories.
Very good. You're really on track.
So I'm looking forward to having some sunny days where I could be out on the deck, because obviously that is now my vacation spot. The deck is where I go for my days off. It's an exciting trip. And just to hang out on the deck and read some books and probably not practice as good of sun safety as I should, but
don't even start me.
I know.
Do you have any idea what we're talking about next week?
Next week, we are talking about books published in the 1980s.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So dig out your 1980s romances.
I was a lot younger in the 80s.
Really? You don't say. As opposed to time traveling?
I could be immortal. You don't know.
I do. I see the gray coming in your hair.
I could be a gray immortal. I don't know that I was necessarily reading much romance in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. But you could now. I bet
No, I couldn't, because it's not the same.
I bet you it's something. So follow us on our socials. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. On Facebook, you can find our My Two Favorite Librarians Facebook group, and we post video podcasts on there every week, where mostly I think we just complain about things and people laugh at us, which is fine.
If it brightens your day, although yesterday's was probably very triggering for grocery shoppers everywhere.
There were a lot of people, you know how Facebook has that new hug emoji? There were a lot of people who posted that.
I haven't got in and looked. That's funny.
Also, we post other things in there based on what we're talking about, and we just want to hear from you guys what you're reading, what you're doing, what your hobbies are. Yeah. So we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
My Two Favorite Librarians. Brought to you by Copper Tree Boutique in Dales Grand Market, located in beautiful, historic downtown Amherst.